Welcome back to the police sports ground in Bridgetown, or just outside of Bridgetown, Barbados, capital city. We're ready for the chase. The U.S. is back into the field, and the two opening batters are there. Opening batters are Rafikazi and Sunny Singh. We're three deliveries into the second innings. He scores two without loss. Bowler is Mark Don. Oh, good shot off the back foot over the top. That's going to run away close to the boundary. Tell you the name of the bowler in a minute. But in fact, that does go all the way for four. So the first boundary of the day, Sunny Singh played a very aggressive innings against the West Indies on Wednesday, and he appears to be still in the same type of mood. Make that on Wednesday. Still seems to be in a similar type of mood, cutting it away fiercely over a point for four. So score moving on to six. And the bowler is Mark Donovan. Very full, bang, over the top. That is close to the boundary. It will not get there. It hit the ground and died in that thick outfield. So if the ball goes up in the air like that, you don't anticipate that it will
Internet is down.
bounce
Internet is down.
and keep rolling. But that was a very aggressive shot there by Sunny Singh. Target of 85. He wants to get this over and done with before the rains come again. Outside off this time. And in fact, my apologies. The bowler is instead Phil Leeds. So Leeds, right arm over the wicket, bowling to Sunny Singh. Sunny Singh, who wants to get this game over and done with, it appears. Anything pitched up, looks like he's going to be going for his shots. Looking big, looking to go over the onside. Tell you what, nobody out there at deep mid-wicket. Any shot in that direction is going to be productive for him. But either way, that is a dot to end things here in the first. At the end of one, the score is 8 without loss. Check that, 10 without loss. So again, the openers for the USA, Rafi Kazi and Sunny Singh. Rafi Kazi, 3 from 1 ball faced so far. Excuse me, and then Sunny Singh, 6 from 5 with that 1-4. And Phil leads first over, going for 10 runs. Bowler now coming from the southern end, I believe, is Malith Madurasinghe. Confirm that as soon as possible. But U.S. really only needing to score from here 1.7 runs and over to win. You would think that that would be within their capabilities. And in fact, yes, that is Malith Madurasinghe, who is about to take up the bowling from the southern end. It's based on his warm-up. He appears to be a right-handed off-spinner. Keeper is, as of now, unnamed. I believe that might be Grant Paisley. Anyway, so good delivery, outside off, flashing, and that maybe just an outside edge and trickling to that slip. Slip is a very deep slip, as deep a slip as you'll ever see for a spinner. But then again, that based on that first delivery, Madura Singh may not be a spinner. It may just be a medium pacer, which indicates great skill by the keeper. Hammered over the top. Look at that shot. Just landing inside the ropes, I believe. But definitely going away for 4. So Rafi Kazi joining in on the fun now. One of his favorite shots. That up and over extra cover shot. And sailing away easily for 4 runs. So just another 71 runs needed. The USA, I think, is going to want to do this as quickly as possible. I don't think they'll take very many risks, but I also don't think that they'll stick around and wait. And now we're still inside the power play, of course. This is just the second over. Immediately you see a fielder sweeping back on the boundary where that ball just ended up. Let's see what type of response Mudurisinga has. And this has worked to short, fine, no run. This is a better delivery, not width, no width offered that time. And Rafikazi just working it into the onside. Rafikazi, just a brilliant batter. Played for the U.S. national team for a number of years. Makes his living and home in Houston, Texas. Short of a length and flashing away through the offside. It will get close to the boundary. Will it go all the way? It goes all the way for 4. Flashing at this one through the offside and running away for 4. So off and running is this pair, the opening pair for the U.S. is going to want to do it as quickly as possible, it appears. Already scoring at the rate of 10.8. They only need about 1.54 runs and over. There's this next delivery. Just defending into the covers for no run. So Rafikazi, there's a ball that is there to be hit. He can hit it. But he also has a solid defensive aspect to his game. Madurasingi again. And solid again in line behind that delivery. Rafikazi, solid as ever. A dot ball to end things here in the second. 2 overs bowled, scores 18 without loss.
Like,
So now starting the third over, the second being bowled by Phil Leeds. His first over going for 10 runs. And he's bowling to the aggressive Sunny Singh. So anything that is slightly off in terms of line or length, expect Sunny Singh to cash in. On the leg side, this is a wide, but that is also a good piece of keeping by the keeper. Quick behind the stumps, really quick stumping, attempted stumping affected. Fortunately for the U.S., that was not in danger of being a wicket. And there he goes again. He absolutely loves playing these aggressive shots and just racing away through the covers for 4 more. Scoring out up to 23. You know who the keeper is? Who's keeping? Do you know who the keeper is? Does any of you know who the keeper is? Does any of you know who the keeper is? Last name? Next delivery. It's defended by Sunny Singh. Better delivery, not quite as full and no width offered. And he just defended in front of the stumps. But this opening pair, right now going at the rate of 9.2 runs and over. And you would expect that there will be nothing that prevents them from continuing along those veins. For the first time, I'd have to say a relatively agricultural shot being attempted there by Sunny Singh. Kind of a wild hoik across the line. I think he's targeting this area deep in the mid-wicket region. And I would have to, after this delivery, mention something about that. Full and up and over again, and this goes up again close to the boundary and gets just stopping in front off the boundary down here at Long On. So two more. Two. In fact, they only ran one. So maybe they thought that he would have thought that ball was going all the way to the boundary. Ended up not running for that one.
Rafi, stop running.
Point of personal preference. Looking to work this down the leg side, Rafi Kazi. And here's a signal from umpire Tremaine Prescott signaling a leg by. And that's a leg by to end things here in the third. Second over by Phil Leeds goes for 7 runs. The U.S. is off and running 25 from 3. And I started saying ago, point of personal preference, I would love to say hello to a great friend and associate pastor of the church that I attend in Austin, Texas, Mrs. Mason Clemens. Good afternoon, Mason. And I know you don't know who the keeper is. My apologies. I thought the mic was on mute. It apparently was not. But it's a pleasure to have you listening and watching. So 3 overs up, 25 without loss. The run rate is 8.33. They only need to score at the rate of 1.42. So they absolutely have this game under control, the Americans. And the Welshmen are going to have a lot of work to do to get back into this. Rafi Kazi up and over the top of Long Off. Diving attempt down there. That's a brilliant piece of fielding. I think he stopped that from going for a boundary. That is a brilliant effort. Absolutely brilliant effort. Midoff, in fact, was inside the circle, and he ran backward and dove and prevented that from going for 4. So just another 2, and in fact, Midoff now drops back to Long Off. Rafi Kazi again looking big, not able to time it well though. And just trickled into the covers for no run. Mentioned Rafi Kazi, a brilliant batter, and lives in the Houston area. When I played in the Houston area, he was absolutely one batter who I absolutely hated bowling to. Short outside off, looking to flash that away, and it does not make any contact. We're halfway through the over. Rafi Kazi playing those days for the Memorial Cricket Club. We had several battles over the years. Just an absolute gem of a human being, but one of the most destructive batters that you'll find anywhere. Very full and driven right back to the bowler as that ball burst through his hands, and they get a single. And so just what appeared to have been a catch, I think was more of a spectator's catch. I think easily playing that into the ground was Rafi Kazi. Madura Singh into his second over. So far, if he has been off in either length or line, he's been punished by both of these opening batters. And once again, with a lot of rain around, I don't anticipate that these two will take very long to get into their craft. This is a good ball, a better line and a better length. Just on that 4th stump line, and Sunny Singh, maybe just a little tentative, not really playing a full-blooded shot at that one. Last ball of the 4th. Oh, looking big, and it slices over. I think that was a thick top edge that went over the keeper and over first slip. Oh, in fact, signal now from umpire Sheena Welsh that only came off of the glove of the keeper, did not hit the batter at all. So just a bye to close things out here in the 4th. A bye, for those of you who are not in the know, is a run that scores without having come off of either the bat or the ball or the batsman. If you're a baseball fan, it's very similar to what's known as a pass ball. The ball gets through the catcher and you get to advance from first to second. That is the equivalent of the similar 29 without loss after 4.
29.
And once again, a point of personal preference, or privilege rather. I just got a message from my former captain when I played in Houston, Cameron Best, tells me that he cannot believe I'm commentating from the very ground where he learned his cricket. So Cameron or Curtis, a pleasure to be in your neighborhood and absolutely loving the fact that I'm in Barbados again. Ooh, for the second time this year, probably the 20th time overall, and just having all kinds of fun down here. So good to hear from you, Skip. And Roy commenting that Steve Powell is the keeper. Roy, thank you very much. That helped me once again. I didn't realize that I was not muted when I was making that comment, but good to know that you've assisted in figuring that part out. Anyway, 29 without loss. This ball is outside off. An extra bounce, and it takes an edge and is caught at backward point. So the first wicket goes down. Sunny Singh looking to go big, very aggressive batter, looking to go through the offside, but only succeeding in getting a top edge. The ball, maybe just from our vantage point, not able to see it clearly, but obviously it went off of the edge and flew to backward point where the catch was taken. And so Sunny Singh is done. The first wicket is down. And unofficially, because we have a bit of an issue with our technology here, but unofficially, score is 29 for 1. So first blood landed here by the Wales team. Important that they take wickets. If there is no rain interruption and if they're able to play all 45 overs, I don't think that there's any way to restrict the U.S. from getting to the target. It's a very meager target of 85. So the only way that they're going to win this game, Wales, is if they take wickets. And they've done just that. They've taken the wicket of Sunny Singh, a very aggressive opening batter. And they would have wanted for that to happen, and they need it to happen many more times because, again, you're defending a pretty low total. So your only choice is to take wickets. And very honestly, I'd like to see them much more on the attack than the way they are right now. By the way, just to acknowledge, the bowler now is Mike Cann. Mike Cann, right arm, bowling over the wicket. Tossed up delivery. I'll tell you what, that one stayed just a touch low. And started saying I'd like to see the Welshmen be a little bit more aggressive with their field settings. You'd think a couple slips would be in position, men in catching positions, choosing to not do that. And this is just worked into the onside, no run. So a little bit of a think for the Americans here. Absolutely, by no means are they in any trouble, but they're going to want to keep picking up these singles. Tossed up, stroke right down the ground, over the head of the umpire. Long off and long on in position. It's long on who comes across. That is Mark Donovan, who retrieves the ball and throws it back in. So just one run taken there. In fact, the batter for the Americans is Syed Shahnawaz. Shahnawaz taking the opportunity to bat high up in the order today. Just a split second, Rafiq Kazi had thoughts about going big, ended up not doing so, but he ended up defending that one in front of the stumps for no run. His next delivery, Rafiq Kazi striding forward and smothering the spin on that occasion. A successful over, the first one bowled by Mike Cann. Only one run from that over, and he takes a wicket. So good going for him. And At the end of 5, the score is 30 for 1. So continuing from the southern end of the ground, this is Malif Madura Singh to continue. And he's bowling to Syed Shanawaz. Shanawaz not yet off the mark. Solidly defending back down the wicket for no run. So we are once again at the Police Sports Club in just outside of Bridgetown, Barbados, going up and over the top, driven square and going away for 4. So just a touch of width offered that time by Madura Singh and taken full toll off by Syed Shanawaz. Opens up his shoulders, blasts that one through the covers for 4. So that relieves a bit of the pressure that was starting to build on the Americans. Score now ticking up to 34 for 1. Just another 51 needed. So required rate is almost irrelevant. We're talking about runs or wickets. That's the only thing that matters here. And there he goes again through the covers. But this time there's a fielder out there on the boundary. That's Kerry Chahal, who's able to restrict the runs on that occasion. Only 1 run, but a good confident looking couple of strokes by Syed Shanawaz. Started saying the Police Sports Club. There's one gentleman who got his start right here, who you may have heard of. One Garfield St. Auburn Sobers. 1 or 2 of you may have heard that name before. Sir Gary Sobers, for my money, the best cricketer who has ever played the game. These days around 85 years old and is an actual national hero of Barbados, officially. Going big in the air, stays in the air for a long time, but Kerry Chahal cannot get across in time to make the catch, and they run through for 2 more. So Sir Gary Sobers got his start right here at this ground. And in addition, if you all, those of you who are fans of umpires, Leslie Reefer, who is an umpire here in Barbados and the Caribbean, his father, Leslie Reefer Jr., as that ball is stroked through the covers. Rafik Kazi at his best. Absolutely at his best. Blasting that one away through the covers for the most delectable of boundaries that you'll ever see anywhere, any version of cricket. 13 runs, or 12 runs rather, coming from that over unofficially. Once again, we're having a little bit of trouble with the technology. But I believe that the score is 40. In fact, just confirming downstairs, the score is 41. So at the end of 6, the score is 41 for 1. We'll fill you in on the details as we're able to get them available. But as I started saying a second ago, Leslie Reefer Jr. is an umpire who officiates matches here in the Caribbean and is on the panel of umpires. Leslie Reefer Sr., his father, played at this club also. So just a couple of names that those of you who pay attention to that type of thing might find interesting. So 41 is the score. And once again, this is going to be Mike Khan to continue. So tossed up delivery, outside off, Syed Shanawaz, shoulders, arms. So 6 overs up, only 44 more runs remaining. So those of you who are on the chat on YouTube, now would be a good time for you to say anything that you want to say, because we may lose the opportunity to communicate sometime shortly, because there's only now another 43 runs remaining. And in 6 overs and 2 deliveries. The USA team is already almost exactly halfway to the total or to the target. And if they continue along the same vein, even if wickets start falling, you think this match doesn't have much longer to go. Cut into the offside, no run. Rafi Kaze, just a brilliant batter. I keep singing his praises, but he is generally one of the most technically correct and proper batters that you will see anywhere in cricket. Once again, represented the USA for a number of years. And these days, even though he's past that 50 mark in terms of his age, he continues to pass the 50 mark with the bat. This one outside off, and he allows it to go by. Just the threat of rain has been around all day. I mentioned that there's a 90% chance of rain in the forecast. So the fact that we've been able to have as much cricket as we have is a good thing. Rafikazi driving this into the covers. No run. Can't get that one away. So this is good bowling by Mike Khan. His first over resulted in a wicket. And thus far he has kept things quiet generally. This is a good looking cut shot by Rafikazi past the diving man at backward point. So they'll jog through for an easy 2. That should be the end of the 7th over. At the end of 7, unofficially, the score is 45 for 1. $45 for 1. And in fact, the scorecard has now been updated. It now says 44 for 1. Either way, you get the sense of where we're headed. Whether it's 44 or 45, there's not a lot of runs that the Welshmen have to play with. The bowler now coming into the attack from the southern end is Ewan Rees. And Mr. Rees, apologies if I'm not pronouncing your name properly. But he appears to be a left armer, bowling around the wicket to the right-handed Syed Shanawaz. Nope, my apologies. He's a right-hander, leg spinner. And worked around the corner. Can't get any runs there. Ewan Rees earlier on with the bats. Opened the batting, scored 5 from 13 before he was out LBW to Humayun Bashir. Tossed up delivery, huge swipe and a miss. Boy, look at this, with long on and long off in position. Syed Shanawaz had to have been absolutely sure that he would have cleared them with that shot. A grunt of ooh and ah. Next ball tossed up again, and this one is down the leg side for the first run conceded from Mr. Rees. Ewan Rees, right-handed leg spinner. Syed Shanawaz, the experienced Syed Shanawaz, facing a field that has a deep mid-wicket and long on and long off. Those are the 3 allowed outside of the circle. You're still inside the power play. So the first 15 overs, the first 90 legal deliveries you can only have 3 fielders outside of the 30-yard circle. There's a 30-yard circle that goes around, roughly 30 yards around the middle of the pitch. And only 3 fielders are allowed outside of that circle inside the first 90 balls, the first 15 overs. So those 3 fielders are now at long on, long off, and at mid wicket. Everyone else inside the circle. Next ball to Rafi Kazi. Good confident stride forward and smothering the spin. This is good bowling by Reese. He's into his first over, only conceded 2 runs so far, one of which was wide. And this one gets through, and they'll get probably 2. Long run down here. And yeah, just an easy 2 conceded. In fact, it just got through the keeper without any bat or body on it. So it's 2 byes. Once again, a bye is similar to a pass ball in baseball, where it just simply gets away from the keeper and the batters are able to run runs. So just 1 ball remaining here in the 8th. Tossed up and defended. Well, he attempted to defend it, Rafi Kazi, but it goes past the outside edge. So good delivery to end things here in the 8th. After 8, the score is 49 for 1. So 8 overs up. Correction, our scorecard is now working again. So the score is 48 for 1 after 8. The USA is scoring exactly at the rate of 6 runs and over. From here, they need to score exactly at the rate of 1 run and over, and they'll win this match. Just another 37 runs needed. And continuing is Mike Khan. Big shot down the ground, but it's going to land in front of long on. Just a single. Next delivery. Punched back past the bowler. It's going to be a single down to long off. And that brings up the 50. So good work so far by the Americans. Long on and long off into position, and deep mid wicket also. The 3 allowed outside. Tons of runs on offer. Looks big. Doesn't get it exactly the way he wants to, but that thick inside edge will take it down to deep fine leg, where they'll jog 2 runs. So just 2 runs closer to victory for the Americans. This is absolutely a canter at this stage, and you get the sense that the only thing that will prevent the Americans from winning this game is rain. 52 for 1 with 3 balls remaining here in the 9th, scheduled for 45. Oh, almost looking for a bit of a late cut. I don't know that I've ever seen Syed Shahanawaz play a late cut before. Appears to be the type of batter who is just going to look to aim over mid-wicket. Next delivery. That's what I was expecting from him. In the air and all the way for 6. Opening up those shoulders and going big over the top of over long on rather, for 6. clean strike. I think that's why he was promoted today. And just tonking that one over the top for the first 6 of the match, actually. So 10 runs already from the over with just one ball, I believe, remaining here in this over. Oh, looking big again, and that came off the Q end of the bat. He's sort of irritated that he didn't make the contact with that he wanted to. But still 10 runs coming from that over. Another productive over from the Americans. Syed Shanawaz moves up to 11 from 14, make that 17 from 16. I believe that's accurate. Rafi Kazi motoring along 23 from 25, and the USA is 58 for 1. This, I believe, is Yohan Rees to continue from the southern end, and he is bowling to Rafi Kazi. Slow through the air, good delivery, drawing the batter forward on that good line, off stump line, and that perfect length where you draw the batter forward. So if you're the Wales team and looking to figure out a way to get a wicket, it would need to start with you looking to take or build pressure. And the way that you build pressure is by bowling a lot of dot balls, a lot of balls where the batter is not scoring. So if you bowl maybe 4 or 5 straight dot balls, then you could potentially get some activity where you restrict the batters. But if you bowl a half volley outside off stump, Rafi Kazi will do exactly what Rafi Kazi just did, blasting it over that fielder's short extra cover and running away for 4. So just now another 23 runs needed. This is the USA in a canter so far. They've certainly lost 1 wicket, but they are well on their way to making this a really short day, not only for themselves, but for the fans and the supporters who are around. Confident effort so far, and they're really doing well here, the USA. Next delivery, and defended. Much better line on that occasion. Did not have the width, and Rafi Kazi just covering up and defending it into the offside for no run. 23 runs away, the small matter of 212 more balls remaining. Rafi Kazi looking just for a split second to cut that away, not making any contact. But you could literally score at the rate of 1 run every 2 overs from here if you're the Americans and come close to winning this game. I don't think it will take anything near that long. Very full and work down to mid-wicket. Do they want 2? No, they just jog through for a single. Productive over, 5 runs coming from it. 22 runs away, the Americans score 63 for 1. So just another 23 runs, make that 22 runs between the USA and victory in this, the Big Man Cricket Caribbean Cup. Played right here at the Police Sports Ground in St. Michael, the parish of St. Michael on the island of Barbados. I mentioned on Wednesday that I'm sure, even though I have no official knowledge of this, that this country has produced more top-class cricketers per square mile than any other country on the planet. This is a small island. It's only maybe 8 miles by 20 miles. Square footage, square mileage rather, is 166. It's a very tiny, tiny island, but has produced over the years a number of brilliant cricketers. This ball is driven down the ground, should just be a single. And in fact, Syed Chan was turning down the opportunity for that second run. Barbados has produced cricketers like I said his name earlier, Sir Garfield Sobers, Desmond Haynes, Gordon Greenwich. In terms of bowlers, just names like Malcolm Marshall, the late great Malcolm Marshall. And in fact, if I'm not mistaken, today is the 23rd anniversary of the passing of the great Malcolm Marshall. So kind of a sad anniversary for those of us here in the cricket community. Malcolm Marshall, about the most, for my money, the most skilled fast bowler that West Indies has ever produced. Going from memory, 377 test wickets. Could bowl quick, could swing it, could cut it both ways. Just a tremendous bowler and a handy batter also. This goes big again, and this is going to be 6 more. This is a longer 6 than the last one, or than the first one rather. And that is only now 14 runs separating the USA from victory. That is Syed Shahnawaz putting that foot down and going over the top. He now moves on to 23 from 18. That is his second 6. And Mike Khan not able to find the magic so far. Low, looking big again, but a better delivery. Bowling it much slower through the air. And he held off, looking to go big. But the fact that that ball was so much slower meant that Shahnawaz was out in front of it. Next delivery, as I am served some refreshments. Quicker ball, going big again. This is 6 more. Absolutely brutal hitting here by Syed Shahnawaz. Over mid-wicket this time, dragged it a little wider, sailing away for his third 6. And only 8 runs separate the Americans from the most convincing of victories. Shahnawaz moving into the 30s. Check that, he is now at 29. This is brilliant batting. In fact, both of these batters are now 29. Working it around the corner, this should be at least 4 more. Yep, it's 4. On the ground, rolling all the way across the ropes, and goes for 4. So brutally effective over by Syed Shahnawaz and the Americans. 18 runs coming from it. And only 4 more runs separate the USA from what effectively is a cakewalk. Just truly effective hitting by Syed Shahnawaz, who was promoted up the order. Generally bats a little bit down lower, but this time he shows that he has skills both with the bat and with the ball. And just opening up the shoulders and going big on several occasions. So far he has 2 4s and 3 big 6s. And the US is just 1 stroke away from winning this in a canter. So this could very well be the last over of the innings. It is going to be bowled by Ewan Reese. He's bowled so far 2 overs. His 2 overs so far have cost 7 runs, so he's been very effective. Rafiq Kazi on strike. Tossed up. Oh, look at this, an attempt for, he's giving out LBW. Oh wow, against the run of play, Rafiq Kazi thought for a second, based on his reaction, I think that he thought he was outside the line. But umpire Sheena Welch disagreeing with that. She thought he was in line. And unfortunately for Rafiq Kazi and the Americans, another wicket goes down. So outside the line of off initially, from our angle here, we're not directly in line. So you have to assume that that ball moved back in to strike him in line with the stumps, Rafiq Kazi. And he's dejectedly walking off, but let's just say this might just be the case of rearranging deck chairs on the Titanic. I don't think it's going to make a big difference as to the overall outcome of this match because it's pretty straightforward. Only 4 more runs needed. And the new batter in is Faisal Alam. Faisal Alam, who can play properly, or he could tee off on the first ball that he faces and send us all home. So I don't think that either way we're going to see a whole lot more cricket today, unfortunately. If you're planning on being here all day, my apologies, you're going to be disappointed. And Faisal Alam, right-handed batter. Just wearing the cap. Doesn't expect a lot to happen in terms of bounce. Reaching well forward, all the way forward to get to that pitch. And defending it behind square, no run. This has all been a very clinical performance by the Americans. And once again, they're just one stroke away from finishing this game. Has to be said though, 2 good deliveries, really 4 good deliveries so far by Ewan Reese. So maybe the case that we have more than 1 over remaining. But still a pretty straightforward, comprehensive victory I think is on cards for the Americans, even with a couple of hiccups toward the back end of this match. Only just 4 runs remaining for victory. They are at 81 for 2. With a target of 85 means that they could turn around backwards and get there from here. That is a dot ball. That should be, nope, 1 more ball remaining. Still possible that it could be ending in this next delivery, but I think what's more likely, in fact, he looked to sweep it around the corner and comes off, in fact, goes behind the batter for wide. So that is 1 extra ball and 1 extra run. So Americans are now only 3 runs away. Still looking big, Faisal Alam, and not able to make contact. So a dot ball closes things out in the 12th. At the end of 12, 82 for 2. 2 runs away from tying this game up. 3 runs away from registering the victory. And it's just a matter of knowing exactly how many balls it will take to have this match be finished. It's effectively already finished with the blistering start. That first, the opening pair of Rafiq Kazi and Sunny Singh, and then Rafiq Kazi and Sahid Shahnawaz. With the start that those 3 provided, this effectively became a cakewalk a long time ago. But still, you still have to knock off the remaining runs. So bowling now going to be taken up from the northern end by maybe Grant Paisley. Not sure exactly. No, it's Chris Hudson. Chris Hudson will be bowling to Syed Shahnawaz. Shahnawaz has wanted to go big, has gone big a number of times already. Looking at the field, there's long on, long off, and mid-wicket. Those are the 3 outside, but he has not shown any hesitation to go big in that direction. And he's strong enough to get the ball over the rope. So let's see what his approach is here. In the air, and gets, maybe stay in the air a little bit, but gets through short fine. That is Madhura Singh, and they get a single. So only 2 runs away now for Syed Shahnawaz and the Americans. That brings Faisal Alam on strike. Score is 83. Target is 85. And no change in the field. Slow through the air. There he goes. Big hit. The biggest 6 of the match so far. Bang into the side screen. And that is the end of the match. What an absolutely brutal strike to close things out here. Faisal Alam closing things out in style for the Americans. And America takes victory by 8 wickets. A pretty comprehensive victory in the end. So I don't think that there was much doubt in where this game was going to go for a while. But the final flourish added by Faisal Alam. And as soon as our technology cooperates with us, we'll take you through the entire scorecard. In the meantime, I can tell you that Rafi Kazi, 23 from 25. Check that. We'll get the updated scores in just a minute. But in terms of Wales, and Wales batted Ewan Rees, 5 from 13. Rowan Evans, 7 from 12. David Adams, 11 from 33. Mike Khan, 4 from 8. Manlith Madhur Singh, 6 from 27. Kerry Chahal, 13 from 28. John Jones, 1 from 9. Mark Donovan, 8 from 29. Phil Leeds, not. Chris Hudson, 4. And Stephen Powell, not out, not. Extras were 25. So extras were actually the high score in the Wales innings. That's not a stat that you'd be happy with if you were Wales when extras outscores all your batters. So they're all out for 84. The bowlers for the Americans, Humayun Bashir, 4 overs, 1 maiden, 1 for 15. Mohsin Khan, 5 overs, no maidens, 2 for 18. Syed Shahanawaz, 6 overs, 1 maiden, 1 for 17. Raj Badadari, 5 overs, 2 maidens, 2 for 10. Kuldeep Patel, 4.5 overs, no maidens, 2 for 14. And Chintan Patel, 4 overs, 1 maiden, 1 for 5. When the Americans came in to bat, it was a pretty straightforward chase in the end. Rafi Kazi, 29 from 33, giving out LBW with 4 fours. Sunny Singh, 11 from 13 with 2 fours. Syed Shahnawaz came in and threw his bat at everything after a while. 34 from 22, 2 fours and 3 sixes. And Faisal Alam, 6 runs scored from 6 balls faced 5 dot balls, and his 6 to close things out, easily the biggest 6 of the entire match. Just 9 extras, but the Americans making pretty short work of this chase. And that concludes things here at the beautiful, overcast, but for now dry Police Sports Club in St. Michael, Barbados. So happy to bring you the coverage from right here in Barbados. We will continue with our next broadcast. I believe it's going to be on Sunday, where the USA team will take on Team India, I believe. And in the meantime, for right now, we are going to sign off from the Police Sports Club. This is Brian Walters. Happy to have been here with you, and we'll see you soon. Goodbye.